Hey, what's going on? What's going on? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Yeah, today is Synchronicity Sundays, and I wanted to tap in just to talk about some things that I've manifested. And I have a lot of dream journals. This dream journal that I have in my hand is something that I wrote in journal entries that I wrote in like at the beginning of January 2023. And here it is dated there, right? January 2023 was a rough year. Well, I'm sorry, not rough year. It was the beginning of a new chapter that I had to go through in order to be where I'm at right now. Let's just say quickly that I had left the place that I rented for several years, and I wound up being inside of what you would call the shack, like a garage shack in Canton Fells Point. And it was like a small spot that I rented because the spot where I was at prior to that, I stayed there since 2015 all the way to 2023. And there was some things and some changes that had happened that the current owner, she was just like, she couldn't necessarily like look out anymore, even after I paid, you know, my rent. It was wild. She tried to charge me $1,500 for a small apartment, which was not worth it where I was originally staying. And I was like, all right, I ran into somebody that was like, look, they're willing to help me out, and just you know, uh, pay me this, that, and the third. And that's another story for another day. But sticking back to the topic, excuse me, I have a lot of journals, right? Before I hop into that, this is another journal. Excuse me. This is a journal that I got from when I spoke at Walter P. Carter last May. And I mean, I have dream journals. I have just regular entry journals. I got journals that I yet document my work. So all these are full, you know, like literally, you know, like it's insane. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not this one. This one I just recently got. Yeah, this is from the Comcast Rise. But I say all this to say I got dream journals. I have all types of journals, but I want to be able to talk about this specific journal right here was something that I started in January, and it was write down 300 things that you want. It was a video that Steve Harvey had made, and he was like, write down 300 things. So I started right here, and a couple of pages. They said by the time you get to number 300, your brain is going to conk out, and which it did, because I stopped figuring out what are the things that I want. And on this page, it's at 230. But my mind was set with good intentions of what I wanted to do, and I want to say it's a lot of check marks on here. I'm not going to go into depth of what was what, but I will read off one of the few things that came into existence. And starting with, it was a workshop that I wanted to do. I said I have right here on the first page collaborations with companies, and each incident that occurred, it happened three times in 2023. It happened on March 3rd, 2023. It happened June 19th, 2023. And it happened October 21st, 2023. You're probably asking, okay, what is he talking about? Okay, so March 3rd, 2023, I wrote down collaborations with companies, right? And on number 21, right there, it says Converse collaboration. This was in January 2023. I wouldn't have thought that by March 3rd, 2023, that I got contacted by Snipes to do a workshop for Converse in March 3rd, 2023. So the Converse collaboration, I checked that one off. Juneteenth, 2023, I got contacted by Snipes again to do the Adidas. It was like Black is Not a Monolith. And it was a panel discussion. And thirdly, on October 21st, 2023, I got an opportunity to do a collaboration with the company Timberland and Constant Development. So a few of these things that I wrote down in the beginning of the year came to light. And it was this quote that Eric Thomas said a while back that stuck with me over the years, but it always talks about people forget, but paper remembers. And as I'm looking at the things that I wrote down, it's still some stuff that I'm looking on this list that I need to check off that still came to pass. So that's what I wanted to actually talk about today. I don't want to keep you guys for no longer, but if you can try to write 300 things that you want, I mean, you can have the world, but we can always want, like, better health. We can want, better relationships with our family members, our loved ones. Write down 300 things. I encourage you to write down 300 things that you want. And it took me a while to write down the list. I'm not going to say I had it all together because I didn't. But it's a lot of things that had came to light. And just sitting back and looking at some of the things kind of like coming to fruition, it's an amazing thing to see. As a man thinketh, so is he. Write the vision and make it plain, So I hope that encourages you today. I wanted to go all the way in depth, but I'll save that for another day. But I want to encourage anyone that's watching this video to write the vision and make it plain. Write down 300 things that you want and look at it every day. That's one of the key things that I forgot to tell you. Look at it every day. Look at it when you first wake up and look at it at night. And sometimes 300 things on one list, that could be a lot to look at within the beginning of the day. But if you look at 50 things and look at all that list throughout the day, continue to look at the paper and look at the words that's on the paper until the words on that paper starts to breathe and become a living thing. You be able to walk into your manifestation of what you wrote down, because writing things down is powerful, and we're losing that art where everybody is using the screens. You know what I mean? And sometimes, if you use the screens long enough, you don't got spell checks. So by the time you're trying to spell a certain word, you're like, yo, what in the world? You ever did that? I'm sure I ain't the only one. But thank y'all for tapping in. I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. This is another episode of Synchronicity Sundays. And oh yeah, I'm making one announcement I want to say before I let you guys go. The Baltimore Woolbirds shirts that tapped out, the orders have exceeded. I may launch the second batch, but as of right now, I'm sold out. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. Thank you. All y'all who have tapped in. It means a lot. And I hope that you guys have a successful week and that you start strong with writing down the vision. All right. Peace.